Alright, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Right, after months of doing the documentations for everything going on in this printer, i.e. the dock, the notch probe, and what else do I make? We can now finally start on the last piece of this puzzle, and that is wiring up the third tool head for this printer. With that said, let's just jump straight into it. And in addition to all of the part that is related to the tool head, you also need these, which are all the part that is needed for the tap and chain system. The part in white are all the part that is reused from the old Voron-Tap system. There's nothing that is custom about these. They are exactly the same as they are in the Voron-Tap. And the one on yellow are the one that is specific to MissChanger. Here you have the upper piece, the rail side mount piece for the MissChanger, and the two head side mounting piece for MissChanger. And lastly, there is this part, which is the X limit switch. All components in MissChanger are designed with built-in support, and you can see on this piece here. And you can see I can just break them apart like so. And that is what it looked like without any of the support. Now, the next thing you will need are these. These are 3mm inner diameter sleeve bearing, and you will need 4 of them for this specific piece. And to put them in place, first you grab them yourself a pliers. And what you want to do with them is you want to put them into the hole here. Alright, and they'll go in like that. It is very important that you have these flush with the surface of the piece so that they don't interfere with the mounting plate on the tool head side. Now let us add the magnet into these little groove here. You need a bit of glue and a bunch of 6mm in diameter, 3mm thick magnets, and you're gonna want to put them into this hole here. There we are. Now, turn into the back of this. You will need 2 M3x4 countersunk bolt to go into this hole here. This will be attracting to the original magnets on the Voron-Tap center, which is what I have here. It's very small. Now, this is the more delicate part of the system because if you go in too deep, you can actually crack the piece and result in you have to reprint the entire thing. So do be very careful about this. And yeah, just put them in. It doesn't take too many twists to put it in because it's a very short bolt. And have it snug. but not cracking. Alright, there we are. Alright, and that is the 2 bolts at the back of the tap front rail side. Now, you need 2 M3 by 30, which I got here, and these will go through these 2 holes at the bottom here to reinforce this piece so that it doesn't break if some sort of collision were to happen. So I'm just gonna thread them in lightly by hand at first. And I grab an actual ratcheting screwdriver. So let's just do the other bolt now. And that is this piece done, so put it aside and move on to the next one, which is this thing here. This is the piece that the tool head gonna be mounted to, and that will interact with the back like this to facilitate the tool changing. And the first thing that you're gonna need to do is to put these headset insert into this hole here. And the particular headset insert that is needed for this are these, which are the 3mm by 3 headset inserts. And there we are. Next, what you need are 4 of these 3mm by 15mm rounded pins, and you want to insert them into these little hole at the bottom of the piece there. So there's 4 of them. It is important to note here that you don't want to clamp it into place, because if you press too hard in, the thing might actually crack and break. So let's go ahead and put the other 3 in as well. And there we are. Now, to reinforce this thin piece of plastic, you're gonna want to grab yourself an M3 by 40 bolt, as I have here, and thread it into this hole here at the bottom. And that's how that one gone in. You can actually see the shadow of the bolt right there. And yeah, let's go move on to the magnets, which will be going to these 2 holes here. And just like before, what you're gonna need is a bit of glue and the magnet themselves. It is important that you match these the orientation of the magnet to such that it will be attracted to these magnets here. So what I would recommend is, in fact, just stick 2 pieces of magnet onto this the rail side piece like so. Then you want to just add the glue into the hole where it's supposed to go before just press it in place like that. And now that is guaranteed to be in the right orientation. Make sure that it's sitting flushed. Then repeat on the other side. Press gently, you don't want to crack the piece. And voila, here we are. That is what gonna replace the tap front in the Voron-Tap system. With that, you can now put this on to the side and work on the neck piece. And that is this thing here, which is the modified Voron-Tap upper. Here you can see that it also used the built-in support as the original Voron-Tap, which you can just break apart like so. And for this piece, the only two things that we need to do is to add the threaded insert into the two hole here at the back, two hole here at the front, and as well as to mount the tap sensor onto it. The headset insert that I use are these, which are the CNC Kitchen M3 by 5 by 4 millimeter head threaded insert. Alright, now let's put the tap sensor on. Now these are M3 by 8 millimeter. So I'm just gonna put them in. And there we are. That's the tap front. Now, bringing this back into the fold now. What you're gonna do is that you mount it like so, and you're gonna do that using two M3 by 20 millimeter bolt. And to finish it off, you need two M3 by 16 to go through these two holes here. So now this is finished, you can put it onto the side and work on the tap center, which is this piece here. And it is the exact same tap center as the original Voron-Tap. There is these built-in support underneath that you can just need to remove like so. And beside that, there's a space for 3 M3 nuts to be placed at the back there. So let me just do that. And those are the M3 nuts in place. Next, you need two M3 by 50 bolts, as you see here. And it's really important that these bolts are actually threaded all the way to the end, like so. as these holes are not made to fit a full M3 rod in there, and if you're trying to shove a partially threaded bolt in there, it's actually gonna crack the piece, and you will have to remake the whole thing. Yeah. And that is 2 M3 by 50 bolts in place. And finally, the last thing that you need to do on this piece specifically is to add a threaded insert into this bottom hole here at that position. Now, if you are familiar with the original Voron-Tap, you would know that there should be another M3 threaded insert here on that hole. However, this hole should need to be deliberately left blank for MissChanger, and that is to such that you can then later on attach the X switches like so. Anyway, let's get that one done, and then we can move on to the next step. And that's it. This piece is ready. So we'll put that aside for now. And normally, the next thing that you need to do is to repair these two pieces here by adding the two 6 by 3mm magnet into these two slots and added the threaded insert on the sides. However, I'm not gonna do this on these specific piece because I already had a bunch of them made, and the one that I want to use is actually already installed on my machine itself. So I'll skip this specific step. But if you need any more instruction on this specific piece, just visit the Voron-Tap GitHub, or you can visit the MissChanger GitHub as well, as I have re-uploaded the instruction for these there. The final piece of the puzzle that you need for the tap and chain mechanism is this thing here, which is the trigger that will hit the endstop at the back right corner of the printer. And as you can see here, what I had done is that I just pushed a M3 nut into that groove there, and yeah, that's all there is to this piece here. Alright, here we are back on the machine. Off camera, I have took both the dock and the other two head off the system, but that is solely for the purpose of showing you how to put the rail sides of the tool changer on. You don't actually need to take anything off if you want to add more tool head to the system. And as I just said earlier, I'm gonna reuse these item from my old prototype system. That is just the belt clamp piece and the magnet piece for the tap center. Oops. If you want to find out how to make this, you can just visit the original Voron-Tap GitHub repository and get them from the manual. And the same thing will apply for the handling of these rails. There is a custom printed piece for the rail carrier to move it around without losing any of the balls. Anyway, the first thing you're gonna need to do now is to grab this tap center piece here and slot these magnets in there. There is a right way to do so, so just keep in mind the orientation of it. These are M3 by 10 with a small washer on them. Make it loosely so that I can move in and out. Now I put the rails on. On the top holes is an M3x6. For the bottom hole is an M3x16 with a threaded insert bolted in like that. So I'm just gonna put it there. And for the last hole in the middle, this is the only part that is differ between MissChanger and the original tap center. And that is I'm gonna have an M3x40mm bolt just going straight through it. And this would then continue through to this X trigger at the back here. So like that. Of course, making sure that the X trigger is sitting straight. So before you tighten it down, you're gonna straight with this edge of the piece here. And with that, this is repaired, and you can now mount it onto the gantry itself and belt the system. And to do that, you will need these 4 M3x6mm button head screw, just like the original Voron-Tap. And well, it's going to be mounted the same as well. And there we are. And the final step now is just to slide the rail back on. Like so. Now, before we move on, what I want to point out is that XY endstop assembly at the back there. In order to show you how that was put together, I had to flip the whole thing over and show you how the cable route along the drag chain and into the basement and all of that. And you know what? Here's a picture. And with that, let's just go back to working with this tap and chain system. So before you put on the next piece, well, what you want to do is to test out if the X trigger is doing its job or not. To do that, you just grab two head, push it all the way back and over until you hear that click. I'm not sure if that pick up on a camera or not. From where I am, I can actually hear the X limit switch being triggered, and that is all good. So next, what you want to do is to put this tap and chain system on. To do that, first thing you need to do is to separate them. This part here is what going to be going on to the rail like that, and what held it in place are these M3x6 button head bolt, and with that little M3 washer on it. And you will screw these in the same way you would with a tap front, like so. So next, you just grab the other piece of the tap and chain system and slap it on top. And that is the tap and chain system done. Now, you're just going to assemble the Stealthburner as if you are assembling it on a normal Voron. So first, you grab your print head, strap it in place like that. Then, you grab your extruder, push it down to the groove and onto the PTFE tube on your print head, like so. Making sure that none of the wires are pinched. Then grab your M3 by 6mm screw and bolt the extruder in place. And the extruder done. Now grab your Stealthburner main body and slap it on. Like that. Holding it in place is the original 2 M3 by 20mm screw. That is the same as the normal Stealthburner. So these two go on top here. And 2 M3 by 50mm bolt that go to the bottom hole here. There we are. Now, at this stage, on a normal Voron, you would need to be awkwardly trying to connect all the wire into where it's meant to be on the two-head board and all of that. But, well, since we are on a tool changer, you can just take it out like that and do the wiring in a position that's comfortable for you. And there we are. That's the two head done. All that left now is to do the umbilical for this two head, but that will have to wait to the next video, as this video here already got too long for the algorithm to recommend it to anyone. So yeah, if you like what I'm doing, hit that like button and the subscribe button. Then if you want to contribute to this project, I had put the link to the GitHub repository down below, as well as my coffee and my buy me a coffee link. And that's all there is to this video, and thank you for watching.